And we are live. So today we have Julian versus Joshua Kehe.
Little chain on Prism.
Chain on Prism. I'm not sure we've seen a die roll yet. So, who do you favor in this matchup, Jake?
Chain. As you know, I just feel like there's so many ways to deal with all the different types of strategies Prism can throw at you. If she tries to fatigue you, you can side some extra cards and go for Eclipse. If she aggro Heralds, that seems like the best option. But you can often just outrace, and then in the Aura strategy isn't too terrible because there's so many ways to just obviously have go again and creepers in for action points and things like that. So, but Prism's just a super solid hero, so can never count her out.
Oh, absolutely. And Chain is definitely one of those heroes that can suffer from the randomness of his ability.
Yeah, for sure. What we want to see here is our Chain opponent to banish every Art of War. Shadow Puppetries would be nice to see banished. Just anything like that. He'd draw all his red blood debt cards and banish everything else.
All right, so Julian just messaged me saying that there was an issue with his opponent's ping. So
Okay.
they may have to restart the game.
Interesting. Their pings are looking okay to me. Although, yeah, his opponent keeps spiking, I can see.
Yeah, I have all that stuff shut off for streaming. I just don't. I like the cleaner, so I don't see it.
Sure.
All right, so it looks like we're getting started. He's matched for the fatigue there. He's got 70 cards in his deck. Prism
Chain
at one
running.
time. Go ahead.
I was going to say chain player running the time skippers to try to play around ALS.
Oh, yeah, definitely. At one time, Prism could really easily fatigue Chain, but I think that day is long gone.
Wow, so yeah, his opponent running 70 cards.
All right, so it looks like he's going first and making a Soul Shackle. Wouldn't be surprised if he pitches... Oh.
Okay, coming in with a Shrill for 5. Go again. Wonder if he just had a lot of blues in hand or something, just trying to filter a little bit.
Not quite possibly. So we can see that Julian's not gonna favor his auras. I think Shimmers is a good one, but like you said, Chain has so many ways to get go again, so many ways to impact the board and then come in and kill those auras.
He uses the floating and the Riftbind, which is a good banish for later. Or sorry, hopefully we'll get banished later.
Ah, yeah, pitch stacking.
With him running 70 cards, the first 2 cards he banishes the first 2 cards he pitched should be part of his Shackle 8 banishes, but then after that it'll be cards in hand. So yeah, we'll see how he ends up pitch stacking here.
All right, so Herald of Protection coming in for 6, pitch to the Erudition.
His opponent probably couldn't see his cards in hand, and Julian probably just flipped them so he could see them.
Nah.
That's a little technique I discovered that works. I'm sure I've helped Julian with it before.
All right, so it looks like Julian's gonna footsteps. He signaled towards it. To play Pierce Reality. And pass the turn.
And that's not a terrible aura when you're trying to aggro Herald Chain, right? Like getting +2.
No, especially when you've got Erudition and they've got Carrion Husk, Arcane Skullcap, and Grasp over there. The bigger you can make your real threats, the more likely they are to impact the game. Of course, we've got a long way to go before Herald of Erudition could even potentially get through. So he's going to invert existence, and he does have 2 targets. Or that's his banish. But there are 2 targets over there. Any of the heralds plus the aura he blocked with.
Okay, so ticks up, shackles, plays the Unhallowed. I don't think he has any targets for that to recur, but
Unhallowed Rites. Such a good card.
yeah, I wonder what his hand is. Probably like the only attack he has.
It must be.
Me. Yep, just swinging to pop the Pierce. Okay, clearing that out
Invert
of Arsenal.
existence. Yep. And maybe he just wants to save that other attack, if he has one, to put in his arsenal to increase his potency next turn.
Could also see him on the turn like this, prioritizing putting a non-attack that could give go again or something into arsenal.
Absolutely. Rune blades are tricky like that. Oh, that was interesting.
Yeah, that was really interesting. I've never seen that.
Don't know how that card shot clear over there without knocking his own cards off. Alrighty.
Did he take his blood debt?
Yeah, he did. Be interesting. Jules chose to take damage last turn. I'm gonna assume it's like a red war tune, or there we go, miraging.
It's a good attack. And hopefully he'll pop it and then Julian will flash in like a Genesis or something.
Would probably be more likely if he had a card in Arsenal. I think this is a pretty empty threat here. I mean, he could potentially have a blue and an aura in hand, but he's choosing not to risk it. He goes down to 32. And then we're...
reasonable.
Oh.
Nice.
Very threatening turn.
So,
yeah. Julian has been playing around with a little bit more aggro side of Prism, so it'll be interesting to see what he chose to bring today.
Yeah, but with that not having any on hits, I feel like he still just takes this damage.
But it does have a relevant on hit. Going to Soul is actually pretty big.
Yeah, but it's not a draw 2. He does pop it. It's not a draw 2, and it's not a can't play cards from banish. Those are the only 2 that I tend to worry about. Because you're usually not going to stop Prism from building up her soul somewhat. So But no, he just opts to pop it there, keep the 7 health.
Yeah, now we're
6
banishing
or however much it
2.
was.
Yeah, it was 7. Bounding.
Ooh,
Ghostly.
2 hits. The blue bounding isn't the best, but it's nice to have that ghostly.
A card that only threatens really the amount of damage of blood debt you're going to take from the same card. I mean, +1, I guess, but
Well, yeah, and it's a good aura popper.
yeah. All right.
You don't feel as bad about it when it only swings for 2.
We're getting +2, and then a Mavrian Skies coming in with a Ghostly Visit for 6.
So
If
the
it hits,
Mavrian's not targeting the Ghostly Visit right now because Mavrian only targets Runeblade and Ghostly is just a shadow. So he activated Chain here to give the Ghostly go again, but the Mavrian Skies will float until he probably plays that Bounding, since that's the only Runeblade attack we currently see on board.
interesting. And the
Just a way
confusing
to
world
not,
of Chain,
it's just a way to not break the chain.
which is really clever, actually.
Yeah, and it's really relevant with Prism with her boots, because those similar to Oldham shields.
That's similar, but it only ever blocked 1.
Yeah, but just as far as like being able to punish a player who breaks the chain, a lot of times on their turn.
Julian must like his hand.
This is interesting. Hopefully he's just consistently going to push back more damage because, yeah, Chain's just going to keep getting stronger here.
So this one's coming in for 5 go again? Or 4 go again, yeah. And if it hits, create a rune chant. Interesting to note, he still has that invert existence from last turn. That's another 2 damage that Julian's going to have to figure in.
Yeah, I could also see the Chain player just keeping an invert up there if with him running 70 cards, I assume he's running Eclipse, and inverts are like a great way to sort of, even though you can leave them up there and hurt yourself a little bit, they're a great way to help ensure that you get the Eclipse off. But yeah, having one this early, I agree. I bet you he plays it just to ping 2 damage when.
Yeah. I don't know, the life difference probably sways into that effect, right? Like when you're playing, because I don't know if everybody knows this, but you are a Chain main. So when you're playing, would this life difference kind of dictate how you play your blood debt?
Into Prism, not a whole lot, to be totally honest. Like I also haven't really been threatened with a really strong aggro. I've never been threatened enough with aggro Herald to really feel like I've got to, like I've never really felt like I'm on the back foot, to be totally honest. Like I kind of know like I'll take some damage early, and some of that damage can even be from myself with blood debt. And so long as I just keep shackling every turn, I'm probably going to get there. Yeah, I think a lot of Chain players kind of know that when you race Prism, usually the Prism player is going to pivot to a fatigue strategy once you start winning the race. That's why you see, 70 cards or around that amount coming in. But yeah, I don't know. And the life total still feels pretty good for him at Shackle 3. He's been lucky with a couple poppers that have really helped conserve his health. Could be a lot worse if he didn't have the 2 CNCs to pop those 2 heralds,
Yeah.
That was what, like 14 life that he saved or something like that, or 13 with 2 CNCs.
So
I'm wondering, go ahead.
we saw Rosetta come in for 2 and 2. Julian used his floating to negate 1 of the arcane and took 3.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're at Tunic Trigger 3. So we have one floating and then one resource on Tunic.
I wonder if we're just going to see another aura drop here, or if he's got a man. Another herald would be great. Something that makes him want to block.
I mean, he could pop this, and I don't think there's anything Julian can do as far as flashing in this time, because he's only got 2 available resources. But we have to wonder if it's not just another miraging into Red Wartune Herald. So I would think that Joshua would just go ahead and pop this if he can. And force the use of Phantasmal Footsteps to make him use the Tunic if he wants to attack again. It looks like he's deciding whether or not to play this invert right now.
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Nah. So he took the 7 and now he's looking at 5.
Okay, he throws equipment on that. Interesting. Probably just while he's below makes sense.
Yeah. Apparently his ping's high again. So we see an Unhallowed and a Red Rift Bind.
Don't think we've seen any targets for the Unhallowed hit the discard pile yet, but yeah, this isn't the worst time to see a Riftbind if he's got a couple non-attacks to pump it with, and he can still save a couple Riftbinds for the end game when he, really needs to come over the top.
Looks like he's mapping out his turn.
Oh, running Whisper. Okay.
We're scrying 3. Or 2, right? It's blue.
Yeah, blue does too.
You know, in experimenting with Katsu, I really like the scry effect that you get off of even bigger than that. I'm really, really starting to like that.
I bet. Not to mention the other stuff that card does. It's insane.
Yeah. Telling you, Ninja's right there on the edge if this Fae character is any good in Uprising.
Zuko. Yeah. Yeah, so here we go. This comes
Shadow
over 6.
Puppetry.
6 go again with an on hit. Pitching that Eclipse, and we're at Shackle 3. 52
Getting ready to be
cards.
at Shackle 4. He hasn't changed yet.
Yeah, I think that Eclipse should get banished in his Shackle 9 banishes, I think. Which, it's a long way away. It's a lot nicer when Eclipse just banishes itself naturally. In the middle of the game, and then you don't have to think about late game where it's at and how you're going to get it out and all that,
Yeah, for sure. Though, in my experience against playing against Chain with Prism, it's usually not Eclipse that kills you.
Yeah, it just depends on if you try to fatigue him or not.
That, and I just feel like Prism has 76 power attacks that Ursa isn't really as big of a threat as it is to other decks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can block with, 3 cards, keep one in hand, have one in arsenal, and that's enough to kill Ursa.
Yeah. Or you could just have one card in hand at the end of it and Tunic trigger and then War Tune Herald into it and kill
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
So we have the Rosetta coming in for 2 and 2.
He's got to go again from Chain on this.
Maybe he chose not to block the Rift Bind. I'm kind of curious what Julian's going through in his mind. Like I obviously don't know what's in his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's, and after this Rosetta, he's probably looking at another 4 damage with that Unhallowed. But that's what 14 damage this turn, and in order to, he has to present at least
Potentially 16 if he inverts as well.
Mm-hmm. Taking 3 here.
Taking 2. He blocked with footsteps and used 1 for no rune.
Yeah. No.
We're coming in for 4. He blocks 2 of it, takes 2. And Josh takes 1 for blood debt. We get a Herald of Triumph. Coming in for 6. Really thinking about his blocks here.
Mm-hmm. This is the
There's not really a whole lot of pressure he could put on. I mean, the only thing he could really do after that was drop a 0-drop aura. And I don't think that really is impactful at this point. Oh my goodness.
Take this blood debt. Get out of here. So is that a 2 yellow boundings? Like, yeah.
Yeah,
2
2 yellow boundings and a shadow reverser. Wonder what is happening here.
I'd assume the chain player is just trying to find the best line with the 3 new cards he just found out about. Got to play a non-attack in order to play the bounding, so probably see that first. Oh. What are you doing? Okay.
So he's playing a Marvin Skies. Playing a bounding.
So 3 go again on hit, create 2 rune chance. Yeah, and I think Julian's taking a little bit too much damage at this point to really try to fatigue chain. So it's
Oh yeah, for sure.
not really. Oh yeah,
Oh,
right here. Oh, okay. See if he has a banished target. That's good. Nope, nope, not a very good one. So this could be a lot less threatening of a turn here.
but he's gonna get his rune chance.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
And that is important. Oh, he's not. We're gonna create a spectral shield.
Instant speed. Okay. So a little mid-turn Rosetta. Makes me wonder if he's got like a CNC or something that he wants to finish on that doesn't get to go again. Oh wait, okay. I guess he's not swinging Rosetta, or did he take the damage from Rosetta?
I don't think he did.
Yeah, okay. So it looks like he just swapped out and said, you know what, let's do the bounding instead. So 4 go again on this one.
Julian just deciding how he wants to block this 3 damage.
Technically 4 with the Art of War.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's good. That was a good Art of War draw. Getting that Blood Debt card in order to swing Shadow Verser to give it go again here. So just putting more gas in the tank for next turn because he's probably just going to swing Rosetta.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Julian's gonna have much to do on his next turn.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's usually where you're at, starting at 4 and 5 Soul Shackle.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, he does just clear out the Blood Debt here. But no more action points after this Ghostly.
I think at this point, Julian, if you're gonna take 3, you might as well take 4.
Unless he's got something that he can push opponent below him. But Husk is still on board, and anything he attacks with is just going to get husked at this point.
There you go. Realize that he's not going to be able to get the Herald of Judgment through. Not with Husk up, even though Husk will be gone shortly.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I was saying, is like usually Prism races until you start to win, and then it's kind of like, okay, I have to block now. But if you don't have the life total to fatigue, it's just really hard.
Yeah.
And like I said, if a couple of those heralds weren't popped, Chain's Husk would already be gone, and like it, then fatigue, like, which is, when I say fatigue, it's more like you're trying to kill them with their own husk, I guess. Like,
Yeah.
but it's hard. Yeah, it's just hard. I like the little like patterns he makes as he flips.
Oh, wow. That's a big miss. Big miss. Might actually be what Julian needs, depending on what's on it, or in Josh's hand there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this could be good. Yeah, Chain only looking at 7 cards. But yeah. He can take both of the Blood Dead and not have to sacrifice Husk.
As long as he doesn't take damage next turn, right?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you get to 13 or below on your own turn, your opponent just sets up and lets Husk go away, and so you get no value off of it, and then you just sit with some auras or something. But yeah, this is. He must have some really good stuff in his hand. I see his. I see him really thinking about this.
It looks like he's trying to get the right sequencing down. Shadow Puppetry coming down.
Oh, well, that's good.
Soul Reaping.
That's good. So he was probably just deciding whether it was better to banish the bounding for the 1 resource or banish the bounding for the go again on Shadowverser. This seems like the right play. So threatening at least 14 damage this turn. Actually, it's 7 plus another 4 is 11 plus another 4 is 15. If he has another Blood Debt card in hand, he can weave that Shadowverser in there. Plus the 2 damage from the invert. I don't see how Julian comes out of this with hardly any cards to play.
Yeah. And it seems so good that he whiffed on the Soul Shackle, but you're not wrong. I think this is one of the last turns of this game.
Yeah. Yeah, but you don't even need good banishes when you just got a Shadow Puppetry and Soul Reaping. He can just sit here and threaten 15 damage without pitching a single card. That's crazy. That's why Chain is so good. And that's like the floor of what this hand could do. Like that's with us not even knowing what his other two cards are at all. You know?
Right. Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
crazy. Get the block with the CNC. So right now, 4 damage would come over the top. We get the shadow puppetry trigger if that hits, and then trying to think what could be. I don't know, maybe like a Howl from Beyond would be kind of cool here. Just something that could pump. Like what a great banish would be off of the shadow puppetry. So I feel like he's got plenty of attacks for this turn, but I mean any blood debt card going into your banish off of a shadow puppetry is nice. So yep, it's gonna trigger. We'll see if he decides to banish or not. Hmm. Oh, there he goes.
He's not going to banish. That's a
I'll kill
little,
blue.
little, re-
Oh man, yeah, and the minnow, that's such a huge bump here. So another 7 coming in, so we're up to 14 damage turn so far.
oh my goodness.
Probably just Rosetta after this, I'd imagine.
It has
Unless he's
go
got the
again, right? So,
yeah.
couldn't he shadow?
Maybe. So if he's got a blood debt card, then you can play the shadow, get 2 go again, and then finish with the Rosetta. But I think here you just swing Rosetta, arsenal your card, take 2 blood debt, and be ready to go on your next turn. Because like I said, like Julian's probably not coming out of this with any cards in hand, so you can take some blood debt and be totally fine there. And if Julian did swing with anything, you've still got Husk on board. So
Yeah, for sure.
um, but yeah, Julian definitely does not want to take the 4 here because invert becomes lethal at that point. Yeah, okay, so he pitches for the skull cap, arcane barrier 3. It
Yep.
looks like.
And then just takes 2.
Yep.
But he has no crackback. I think, like we said, that turn was really big for Chain. And I don't think Julian comes out of this unless he like gets an ALS, and even then, we do have the time skippers over there.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Oh, we do crackback.
Let's go.
He husked, right? Yeah.
Fortune. Yeah.
Interesting that a blue war tune was what came out of Arsenal.
Yeah. Julian helping him with his banishes. What a guy. 4, 5, and 6.
Oh my goodness. Still going to be a massive turn. There's
Right,
the
so
ALS.
in reaction to the banishes, he does ALS here. But this is the problem. I mean, you're at 4 health. Who cares? But this is the problem. You ALS. You have 1 card in your hand. Your opponent just time skips around it. Can just swing the sword for 2 at it, or just throw the Shadow Verser at it. Not really sacrificing much potential threat. Sorry, not sacrificing much like damage in order to clear it out, and then just basically starting their turn.
Yeah.
But at this point, like you might as well play it, I guess.
And the sad part is though, so he can invert here. Honestly, I think he just should pop time skippers, get rid of that. Julian can't defend now. He only has one card.
There's a good chance that he's sitting on a bunch of reds too, though. Like 3 reds and a yellow. Like it, those hands definitely happen. um, yeah, I'm curious to see. So he pitches the red howl for that. I feel like if he had a blue or something and wanted to do some big stuff this turn, he probably would have not pitched a howl there. He would have used that to get go again on his Shadow of Ursa after playing his time skippers. But the fact that we see him do that, I don't know how I feel about that. That's interesting. If he's got a blue here, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. At this point, though, if those are all reds in his hand, let's see. The most he could do. Oh, okay, yeah. Let's see what he pitches. A red.
Red.
Okay, I think he had an all red hand.
Red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had an all red. So that was a pretty punishing ALS. Seeing now that his opponent drew into an all red hand, that's pretty nice. And he's just
Very lucky turn.
out. What did he pitch that one for? For the sword. Because he's 1 red was for the invert, 2 reds were for the rune chant, 1 red was for the Rosetta. Opponent goes down to 10. But yeah, now on Shane's next turn, it's okay if he doesn't even hit anything crazy with his banishes. And he'll still have some gas up there, but yep, Julian just passing back.
I mean, if he drew all red again, that's about it. Like, we'd have to get another ALS.
It's happened to me against Julian where I drew 2 back-to-back all red hands.
Oh.
I haven't seen any runic reclamations.
His blues are all getting banished.
Yeah, this is what he needed last turn. Look at all the blues. Yeah, that was unlucky for his opponent. Now there's a playable. So yeah, no cards in soul. So basically, if he has an invert in his hand and a blue, well, he would need more than that. If he just had an invert, if he can play an invert, the howl, one of those 0 costs and swing Rosetta, he wins.
And Julian sorting his cards there is making me think he's got an ALS.
So it looks like we're coming in for 6. 1 and 6 go again. Yeah, this should be game here. The split damage is just...
So we'll prevent with the rune chant with the arcane barrier. Fucking 6.
What's he gonna banish? Oh, red bounding. That's good for him. Maybe block with the boots and the tunic. I don't know.
Yep.
Yeah.
At this point in the game, when Shane is just going, it can be overwhelming.
Yeah, and Chain at Shackle 8 still had 19 cards in deck. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Yep, this is lethal. Unless that's a sync below.
We're at 17 damage threatened at this point.
Good
that's
game.
Yeah, they called
It'd
it.
be so rough. All right, everybody.
And
Thanks for.
another swinger. Yeah. I mean, that was a 25 damage turn.
It was insane.
Julian started it at 2 health. Yeah, it's a rough matchup for all the reasons we've talked about.
For sure.
But Prism has a chance. Sometimes she can drop lots of auras or just do some crazy stuff with heralds that, but it's always fun.
All right, that wraps it up for us, folks. Thanks for checking us out. And we will catch you again tomorrow night. I think Ben's playing at 10 tomorrow.
I thought
10
Ben
p.m.
was playing at 10 today. Was it tomorrow?
I think it's tomorrow.
Okay.
I have to look. All right.